The Formula Regional Middle Eastern Championship here this weekend returns back to Yas Marina. It's time for qualifying for the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Championship. Today, Jake Sanson will be taking this qualifying session as I am off to do other stuff, but it is now two 15-minute qualifying sessions for Group for qualifying 1 and qualifying 2. Of course, qualifying 1 rounds out race number 1, and qualifying 2 rounds out race number 3, with race 2 being a reverse grid of race number 1. Enjoy! Let's head it up to Jake Sanson.
It's at a very different time of the day. The track temperatures are going to be a bit higher than they were for the previous encounter, and as you can see, it's a little bit overcast with strong winds over the Yas Marina circuit. There's not that much of a chance of rain, although it is potential if the wind continues at the velocity and speed that it currently is. Drivers are starting to head out onto the circuit. 15 minutes, of course, for the 2 sessions. Get your questions and your comments in on the live stream. It's qualifying. It's the perfect time to answer some of them. I've just had a fantastic time during the second practice session for the F4 Middle East Championship, spending the entire hour session as a guest of the RHGP squad. That feature is going to be part of the race 1 build-up for the Middle East Championship coverage this weekend. We're going to take you behind the scenes during a typical practice session. Looking forward to seeing what we all think of that. I certainly enjoyed myself. The drivers now heading out for the first of 2 sessions. It's going to be a really interesting battle out on the course. We are in for a very intriguing run to pole position. It's been an interesting change up from round 3 to round 4. Just to inform you that we've got 2 new drivers on the grid for the 4th weekend in the championship. Regionol, we say goodbye to him as the Santalok driver now retreats back to Europe, ready in preparation for his FIA Formula 3 campaign on the Formula 1 circuit. But his place in the team has been taken by Nikita Bedrin, who we know very well indeed from his previous escapades out here in the Middle East. He, of course, raced here in the F4 Championship in the past. A very talented young competitor. He, of course, raced in the FIA Formula 3 Championship, of course, as well for the last 2 seasons. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can continue to do. And the battles have been really exciting to see how he has continued on. So he's come here very much last minute to drop in and do a Formula Regional Middle East Championship event. He's quite happy to do so, and certainly very motivated to come away with a top 5 result if he can do so. The other man in, you're watching him as he goes around the circuit, the Italian driver Matteo De Palo has gone into the grid for this weekend, and the Italian driver is competing this weekend for Evans Grand Prix, the 17-year-old from Rome. Of course, racing in the competition. He's going to be racing in the European Championship at Formula Regional with the Trident team, having raced with Santalok last season. But he's taking the opportunity to do a couple of rounds here to continue his development ready for the remainder of the season. Apart from that, pretty much everything is as it was last time out. We're currently watching Ernesto Rivera, the Red Bull Junior for the Pinnacle Motorsport team, and Chu Yang-pu, his Chinese teammate, just bearing himself up and getting himself up to speed. 2 of the Grand Prix related young guns, of course, Ernesto Rivera being masterminded by the Red Bull operation, and there is Chu Yang-pu, the Chinese talent, who is part of the Mercedes F1 Young Driver Program. In fact, this weekend we've got 3 drivers from the Mercedes F1 program. The other 2, of course, are Dorian Pain, the French driver, who is also in this grid, and in F4 we have Alex Powell.
Here's how to turn your old smartphone into a $5,000 DSLR camera. This device has taken the photography world by storm. It can take stunning HD pictures with your phone, and for a fraction of the price. It uses a patented NASA-inspired lens, allowing users to capture everything from miles away and with stunning clarity. And right now, professional photogs and travel bloggers are dubbing this incredible invention the most revolutionary camera accessory of the decade. This invention is the result of inspiration from the Stargazer lens, a breakthrough device developed by NASA. Observing the high cost of smartphones with advanced zoom capabilities, John Bucker, a retired NASA engineer, saw the opportunity to adapt NASA's Stargazer lens technology for everyday use. He took his notes from NASA and developed a new device, no larger than a thumb, that could easily attach to any smartphone and instantly transform it into a high-end ultra-zoom camera, capable of capturing detailed images of distant objects without sacrificing image resolution. It's called Nano Zoom, a revolutionary device that puts a professional DSLR right in your pocket, but in the form of a lightweight, ultra-compact lens, all without breaking the bank. The patented optical technology gives you ultra zoom capabilities so you can see distant objects with impeccable detail. It uses a new type of lens technology to zoom in up to 200 times, and with the built-in LED light, you get perfect photos and videos under any condition. It's compatible with all smartphones and it's super easy to use too. Clip it on your phone and start viewing the world like never before. The invention quickly went viral with buyers posting amazing images on social media, sports fans getting up close with their favorite athletes, amateur astronomers taking mesmerizing shots of the night sky, nature lovers capturing crystal clear pictures of dangerous animals without getting too close, and many more. Even professional photographers are preferring it as an alternative to bulky lenses. When he first launched Nano Zoom to the public, it sold out within the first 48 hours. This scientist wants everyone to know about this new technology, so he has since tripled production and is offering a 50% welcome back sale for anyone who orders within the next 24 hours. By clicking the link below, you'll be taken to a special web page where you can get an exclusive 50% discount. Or simply scan the QR code on your screen to access this limited time offer instantly. It's available exclusively through this link for a limited time. To distance the Nano Zoom from cheap knockoffs, this product isn't available in any retail stores or even on Amazon. So scan the QR code on your screen or visit the official website to get your Nano Zoom right now while it's still 50% off. They also offer a 90-day results or full refund guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to lose. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Scan the QR code or visit the official website to claim your 50% discount today, or you risk paying full price again tomorrow.
The competitors are getting themselves up to speed. Just to give you a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the nitty-gritty of qualifying, you can see for yourself that it's not exactly bone dry sunshine. The wind has definitely picked up over the last half hour. It's got very strong indeed. There is not scheduled to be any rain over the course of the circuit, but looking at those clouds, there is a chance that it could happen. And when it rains in the United Arab Emirates, it really rains. So hopefully it's not going to affect too much over the course of the qualifying session. And it'll be really fascinating to see who gets the pole position. Through the practice sessions so far, the Frenchman Evan Gilter and the ART Grand Prix team that are bidding to become champions on their first appearance in the Middle East are certainly going about it the right way. They had a lot of pace in the previous practice sessions, so they look pretty strong and reasonably competitive all the way through the week so far. They had two practice sessions yesterday of 1 hour in duration, and then a half-hour session earlier today. And now, of course, they go into two 15-minute sessions for qualifying. So it'll be interesting to see how things continue out on the circuit. Just to reiterate the comments I've picked up from a Ajbaj, who says not exactly bone dry, so it's wet then. I wouldn't say it's wet, but it's certainly greasy. The oils in the tarmac, when the temperatures go up and the track temperature cools down, it becomes a little bit trickier, especially when you add into it that the wind has picked up, so the sand has started to blow over the circuit at some parts as well. So although it isn't wet, to some of the drivers it will feel a little bit wet. So it's going to be fascinating to see how it progresses. So it'll be interesting to note how the competitors run. And just to correct Ashwaj, who says there were no practice sessions yesterday. There were no official practice sessions yesterday, certainly none that are part of the official times, but they had two testing sessions yesterday, which are known as unofficial practice, and those were both of 1 hour in length. So Alcione asks a very good question. Is Q1 for the grid of race 1 and Q2 for race 3? Absolutely correct. Yes, so the two qualifying sessions that we have are 15 minutes in duration. They will set the grids as you mentioned. So Q1 is for race 1, Q2 is for race 3. How do we set the grid for race 2? Well, we take the finishing results of race 1 and we reverse the top 10 finishers. So whoever finishes 10th gets to start from pole, and whoever finishes in 10th whoever finishes in first, I should say, gets to start from 10th position. The times are already starting to tick down. Evan Gilter blasts in a 2-minute 3.9. Some of the other drivers are still warming up the tyres and brakes. So you can look at Chikwu second at the moment from Onzo Deligny and Jin Nakamura. And then we have Taito Kato, the ALT Grand Prix driver, just in front of James Headley. Although up to the top spot now comes Washon Wei on a 2-minute 1:10.05. So that tells you quite a lot. The fact that Washon Wei is not going to be the fastest driver in the qualifying session easily. I'll just add easily, just in case he somehow magically manages to do so. But certainly on present pace and form, it hasn't happened so far. So I would expect to see a little bit more from the drivers in terms of their raw lap time pace. As we go into this fourth round of the championship, it's currently been not one-way traffic, but certainly a strong campaign for Evan Gilter, who is currently 39 points ahead of Brittany's Freddie Slater. Brandon Madua, third in the standings on 126, 1 point ahead of Tevye Nal, who of course is no longer racing with us this year. So it is a three-man battle for the championship now. Evan Gilter of France, Freddie Slater of Great Britain, and Brandon Madua of Italy. Rashid Al-Baheri has 108 points, 3 more than the American driver Yugobuga Chukwu, and then the battle for the top 10 rages thick and fast. It's going to be a combination of Onzo Deligny, Jin Nakamura, Kanato Lee, and Taito Kato. Of course, now Ernesto Rivera has the chance to be best of the rest after the Mexican driver, his colleague Jesse Galishkado, has pulled away from the championship after the first 2 weekends at Yas Marina. He was, of course, replaced in that team by the Japanese talent Hiro Yamakoshi, and the other driver who was part of the grid for the first 2 weekends, who now is no longer driving, is Giovanni Mascio. And he was obviously not replaced in the team formally because Hiro Yamakoshi came in to replace, I guess, technically speaking, both Jesse Galishkado and the man up at the top spot. Now we're getting the decent lap times in. Matteo De Palo's put in a 1:58.9. So a good run from the Italians so far. Matteo De Palo looking to put himself into a pole position time. So let's see if things continue. Now Alyssa wants to know, why is F4 qualifying not today? So an interesting situation. Usually they are on the same day, but the way that the timetable has been structured this weekend, we are sharing the circuit with the Asian Mall Series, so it is slightly different to the timetable that we had for the first 2 weekends at Yas Marina. And because their 2 races over the weekend are 4 hours in duration, they've obviously had to stagger the timetable to make sure that the drivers have plenty of time between races and between sessions as well. We can't force them all to compress in very close to time. So it's been spaced out just a little bit more flexibly than the previous 2 events at Yas Marina. So qualifying for Formula Regional is today, qualifying for F4 Middle East is first thing tomorrow morning, and then we'll have 2 races tomorrow, 1 each for the championship, and then 2 races each on Sunday. Hope that made sense. If it didn't, I clearly wasn't telling you right. So at the moment, Julian Bu has gone quickest, a 1:52. And that was the quickest time we've done so far, although it's quickly been deleted due to track limits at turn 16. So Hiro Yamakoshi has now got the fastest time, a 1:50.801. Kai Dalianani's banged in a 1:52.1 as he goes across the line. There he is. So Kai Dalianani just finishing things off. Oh no, sorry, that's his teammate, Matteo De Palo, who's just gone quickest of all in the number 8 Evans Grand Prix car, although I spoke too soon because now it's Evan Gilter who's gone top spot. 1:49.944. Fastest in sector 1, 2 and 3. So Evan Gilter, quickest of all for the moment. Yugobuga Chukwu second in front of Taito Kato now. And then it is Onzo Deligny. Up to second comes Freddie Slater. Now this is going to be an interesting battle between Gilter and Slater. In the first weekend of the championship, of course, Slater had it all his own way when things were on this layout, the Grand Prix circuit. It was when we got to the corkscrew layout that things changed in Gilter's favour. So now things will be very interesting to see which of the 2 of them gets the better of it. And Freddie Slater's got a 39-point deficit to make up. It'll be fascinating to see who gets the best of it.
Indeed, it will, to see, of course, who, if it will be Evan Gilter or if it will be Freddie Slater. Of course, that time of Evan Gilter is 1:49.944 over Freddie Slater. Kanato Lei, Yugobuga Chukwu in P4, Taito Kato, Brenda Bardua, Akshay Bora, Enzo Deligny, Matteo De Palo, who was competing in the Formula Regional Middle East, who was competing in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine this year, but now has moved back to the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Championship to finish off the year.
The ART Grand Prix driver, if you look at Chipwood fourth and Taito Kato fifth, so in the top five, 3 of them are for the ART Grand Prix squad. Amazing just how much work they are doing on their debut. So Andrew pointing out on the stream has a good question. What kind of rain tyres do the teams have if it rains? Do they have intermediates and wets? No, they only have wets. So they only have one choice of wet tyre. And I believe it is the full wet, if it so happens to be the case. So as far as I'm aware, they only have one choice of compound, and it is full wet. You can't really take a risk on intermediates if it gets torrential. So it's the better of both worlds, essentially, to go full wet rather than intermediate, as far as I'm aware. If anyone wants to correct me on that has the facts, then please do, but that is my understanding of the ruling. Hugo Chikwu, third position at the moment, moving his way ahead of Kanato Lee. Rashid out ahead, he's got ahead of Taito Kato as well. So some good performances. So Sharonian says it's very fun to see Dorian Bao, member of the Iron Dames, on the track in the same weekend as her fellow Dames are in Asian Le Mans. Yes, they've been doing a lot of their track walks and a lot of their physical training together. And there were a lot of conversations between them all at Dubai Autodrome last week, so good to see them all together. Mr. Idiot, bless you. A little bit degradational on the live stream there, but clearly a name that's chosen with personal pride. What is the layout this week? Well, it's the one that you're all familiar with. It's the Grand Prix layout that you're familiar with in Formula 1. So we do get the full version of the Yas Marina circuit, although, of course, the pit straight is not this one. This is where the Asian Le Mans teams are based, but we get the support pit lane on the back of the circuit. So turn 1 for us is actually turn 9 for Formula 1 fans. Ted still on top with that lap of 149.944. Everybody's going about the 150.0, 150.2 mark. Slater's got slightly quicker, 150.081, but not quick enough to overturn Shilter as we watch the Jack attack back in action. Jack beaten. Here is the number 6. That's the pinnacle of Hyu Yamakoshi, the Japanese talent, who's really been putting on a great show so far, despite only having one weekend behind the wheel at Dubai. Really interesting situation for the contenders. Connor Edwards actually asked a reasonably theoretical question. What is the likelihood, though, that they'd have to use wet tyres in the Middle East? Well, certainly if anybody was watching last year, we had a race which really did have a torrential downpour at night here at Yas Marina, so it was night and raining. So very unique for competitors. That was a proper motor race. I think that was the F4 championship that gave us that last year. But certainly it does happen.
It certainly does here in the Middle East. Hello, Harrison. Welcome in. Welcome to the stream. Welcome in. 50 seconds left here in this first qualifying session. Johnny's back. Awesome. Awesome. Johnny is back. How are you, Harrison? How are you? You've only got to come to like 5 more streams and you get managing moderator. That should be interesting then, shouldn't it? That should be interesting. Here is car 50 of James Parrott. Sorry, that is James Headley, I should say. 20 seconds to go left here in this first qualifying session here at Abu Dhabi for the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Championship. Harrison, the one weekend that Formula 1 is perfectly time zoned for Australia, I miss it. Well, I didn't miss it, I was busy. As the clock counts down, and I don't think anybody else will improve. So that is Evan Giltaire, who starts on pole position here for race number 1 over his championship rival, Freddie Slater. Just over a second separating first to 15th, which is Aaron Cameron, who was, of course, the Bathurst 1000 competitor last year. But yes, Evan Giltaire, what a performance. He grabs pole position over his championship rival, Freddie Slater, 150.0. Evan Giltaire, who's done a 149.9. Pretty good lap indeed. Do you want me to tell you who won? I already know who won. Max. Max won. I know exactly who won. Harrison, don't spam. Don't spam. please. Yes, Max won. I knew. Harrison, today I watched it. I watched it. Don't worry. Even though I was streaming F1 Academy, I watched it. I literally just finished watching it before I started this stream. Literally just finished watching it, so I know all of what happens. The cars now making their way back around to the pits. Some finishing off laps. The cars will now make their way back to the pits and head back out for qualifying 2, which will set the grid for race number 3. And race number 2 will set the grid from race number 1, which will be reverse grid. Should be quite interesting indeed to see how that unfolds. But yes, Max won. So now Max is officially in championship contention with that win. Max Verstappen, yes, Max Verstappen, who would have thought, is now officially in championship contention. Evan Julter, Freddie Sato, Ugo Chikwu, Kanato Lai, Rashid Aldaheri, Enzo Deligny, Tata Kato, Brenda Badua, Ricky Liu, Akshay Bora, and Nikita Bredgen round out your top 11 cars, and it's separated by less than 0.3 of a second. That is tight margins. No, what do you mean no? No? Well, yeah, it puts him in championship contention. He has been. I hate Max. I know. Well, you can't do much about that. Jack Bean, Matteo Paulo, Riviera, Aaron Cameron, Hugh Makoshi, G Nakamura, and Diane Pan, who competed in the F1 Academy Series. Everett Stack, Yan Choi Pao, Young Say Dutt, and Yaroslav Veslau. Ferrari, but is that red cars? Oh, big engine failure. And who is that? Someone has had a huge engine failure down the back straight. As we cut away from the results, someone has had a huge engine failure. I don't know who that is, but someone has certainly had a huge engine failure. That is one of the RSGP cars. Who is that? That is a huge engine failure. Whoever that is, someone has just had a huge engine failure. And that is car number 2. That is a huge engine failure. Oh my god. There was a big puff of smoke that was almost scary. Australia. Yes, indeed. Oscar Piastri. The margin has grown bigger. It just can't decrease. It's just not decreasing. The margin is just, it's 23 points, that margin. Lando can win the championship in Qatar. Who's Ryan? Ryan Wood? Ryan Wood's not in this championship. But Lando Norris can win the championship in Qatar. How? Ryan Wood? No, Ryan Wood's not in this championship. It is. I get what you mean by Ryan Wood. I get it. Ryan Wood's had many engine failures, but no, it's not Ryan Wood. But yes, there will definitely be a delay now to the second part of qualifying. Chazzy. Okay, Buster. Okay. But yes, second part of qualifying, there will be probably about a 5-minute delay to the next part of qualifying. Chazzy. I need to stop saying that whenever he says it. Whenever he types it, I'm gonna stop saying that. My voice is already dead from today, okay? F1 Academy killed it. F1 Academy killed my voice. 25, here we come. Okay. So you want Chaz Mostard to win the championship? Are you kidding? I can tell you, I'm going to be streaming. By the way, I'm gonna be streaming that. Don't worry. When you whinge, Feeney, boo. Oh my god. Feeney has a better crack. I can tell you this much. Yes, Chaz Mostard did have a good round in Sandown, but you got to admit, Feeney does have a better chance of winning this championship. Feeney genuinely does. Feeney very much has a chance, a higher chance than what Mostard does at this point. Yes, he had a good Sandown, but still, Feeney has a chance. Yes, he hasn't won races. Who whinges when he loses? Not me. See, I won't be the one who whinges. You'll be the one who crashes out when I tell you, guess who won the championship? And $5. $5. I'll put my money on it. It's not Chaz. I'm going to be streaming it, by the way. I'm going to be streaming practice qualifying shootout race. All of the things. Plus Trans Am series. Can't forget about that. Along with, what else? Dunlop series and, oh, not Dunlop series, Porsche Carrera Cup. Along with, boom, right, no. Yes, Porsche Carrera Cup Australia, I'll be streaming that. And Supercars. Imagine Kai Allen wins. Oh, God. Oh, golly. That's... If Kai Allen wins the championship. Didn't he get knocked out? No, didn't Kai Allen get knocked out? I'm sure Kai Allen got knocked out. Did he? I could be wrong. Did Kai Allen get knocked out? I feel like he did. I very much feel like he did. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, I feel like Kai Allen did get knocked out. I am sure. Ricky Liu on screen there. Sitting in his car waiting for this session to get back underway. As we go across to Jin Nakamura, who sits in his car. Sorry, that is actually Bora, who sits in his car right now. No, Matt is in Cam Waters. Basically, they were fighting it out and they got out. Okay, so Matt Payne. Oh, okay, that was it. Yeah, okay. Matt Payne and Cameron Waters got together and both of them ended up getting out. So Kai Allen. Okay, okay. Kai Allen didn't end up getting knocked out, but Cam Waters and Matt Payne got knocked out. Okay, thank you. Thank you for recorrecting what I had got wrong. Thank you.
Qualifying. So clearly it wasn't that long an operation needed to remove Jin Nakamura's car. So now the qualifying session is underway. And it looks as though not everybody is going to go straight out when the lights go. So interesting scenario. Right, I just started picking up on Formula Regional, says KLF. What's the points system like? Is it similar to the big guns? To be fair to you, it has changed for this year. It used to be the top 10 that scored points. Now it's the top 12 that scored points from 2025. So it's 30 points for the win, 22 for second, 18 for third, then it's 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, down to the 1 point for 12th position. 2 points on the board for pole position. So that is the new point system that we've got ready for the 2025 season. Apologies, our camera seems to be having a tiny bit of a meltdown at turn 1. Hopefully that will correct itself. And certainly the drivers are starting to head out onto the circuit once again as we gear ourselves up for more great action out on the course. So as the cars venture out onto the circuit once again, it'll be time to see what happens in this second qualifying session. And don't forget, this one sets the grid for race 3, not for race 2. The race 2 grid is determined by the finishing positions of race 1 tomorrow, with the top 10 finishers reversed in grid positions. So whoever crosses the line in first will start 10th, and then of course conversely, whoever finishes 10th will start from pole position. And if they manage to get pole position in this particular Q2, that's 2 points for the championship. So Evan Gilter scores 2 points for the championship with his pole position. That now puts him 41 points ahead of Freddie Slater as opposed to 39. So it'll be into the race tomorrow that will really count for Freddie Slater. And this points overhaul, why has it been done? Well, it's to reward even more points for the driver that takes the victory. 30 points compared to 22. That's an 8-point swing for a race winner. And then there's 4 points difference between second and third, 3 points difference between third and fourth and fifth, and then it's 2 points difference between fifth and sixth and seventh and eighth, as well as eighth and ninth. And then ninth gets 4 points, and then it's 4, 3, 2, 1 down to 12. So it does encourage drivers to push for overtakes more. 8 points more than second place to go for the victory. So a win here is really valuable from the regional at least. competitors are just gearing themselves up again around the circuit, just pounding in the laps, trying to warm up the car. HLW4 wants to know, will any drivers in this year's Formula Regional Middle East be racing in the Italian or Euro F3 Championship this season? Well, of course, FIA Formula 3 is part of the Grand Prix grid, and we know for a fact that Teofil Nal is going to be there. He raced in the first 3 rounds of the championship. Nikita Pedrin, interestingly enough, has popped in for this round of the championship, having raced in FIA Formula 3 for the last 2 seasons. And of course, as Conor Edwards rightfully points out, Yuga Chukwu is going to be in the Bremer team in Formula 3 this year as well, having won at the Macau Grand Prix at the tail end of November. So next time out in the sale could well be the last 3 races you'll ever see Yuga Chukwu drive in Formula Regional. Mind you, we've said that about Nikita Pedrin in the past, and here he is popping up to put on another great show. So, Mr. Idiot would like to know what's been the favourite race of the season so far for the bloke in the commentary box. I actually really enjoyed race 1 in Dubai. Yuga Chukwu putting in such a tough effort to bowl off Brandon Madera and Evan Gilter for a very tough race. That was a really interesting encounter for me. Not all the races have been nail-biting to the ragged edge in Formula Regional Middle East, but you really do get to see drivers working these tyres hard in this. Don't forget, this is a championship that, while it doesn't always have you on the edge of your seat every single corner of every single lap, you do get to learn a lot about how the drivers are developing and progressing on their route up the ladder. So certainly in Formula Regional this year, Dubai Race 1 was a particularly entertaining one. You got to see a lot from Yuga Chukwu. A yellow flag at turn 9, that is turn 1 for us. So something has happened up at the first corner. I'm trying to see out the window of my commentary box to see if somebody has stopped the car out of the marshal post. I think there is someone stationary there, and it's full course yellow as a result. So we've got somebody off the road, down at turn 1 for us. Turn 9 is the official name of the corner. So I don't know exactly who it is, but we're under full course yellows, which means we're not going to have a lot of time to warm up the cars ready for the fast lap. So obviously everybody now reduces in speed. There is the full course yellow, but who's it for? We need to see what's going on down at turn 9 and which car is stationary. So apparently the car number 50, that's James Headley, is under investigation for possibly crossing the pit exit demarcation line. You're not supposed to do that. So clearly it's been a difficult situation for the drivers, particularly for someone of the calibre of James Headley, getting into the Formula Regional and to Yas Marina for the very first time. A very difficult situation. Motorsport Madison would like to know, what's been your favourite track so far? Oh, well, there's the reason. What is going on at RHGP? Because that's the second breakdown for them. RHGP again, and it's red flags now, red flags. So we've got red flags with just under 9 minutes left of the session. Well, big drama as the session is red flagged. So that's 2 cars from the RHGP team that have conked out within minutes of each other. First Jin Nakamura and now Akshay Bora. Big drama in this qualifying session. Red flag in the second qualifying, and the clock has stopped at 8 minutes 51 seconds remaining. But I cannot believe it's happened to RHGP twice. First for Jin Nakamura and then for Akshay Bora. That is the mother of all bad luck. So the drivers made their way back down pit road again. Wow, very difficult for the team to now pick themselves up from this. They've only got Arzo Deligny and Yuga Chukwu left to try and go for the pole position.
What happened?
Everybody else retreating back into pit lane. Not a single flying lap was done by that point. It just looks to me, Xavier Herrera wanting to know what happened. Your guess is as good as mine. It just looks as though the car has broken down on Akshay Bora in much the same way as it did for Jin Nakamura. I can only guess that Nakamura's breakdown at the end of Q1 was an engine failure, because he certainly looked like one. But for Akshay Bora, we have no idea. We've only seen the car stationary. We didn't see how it became stationary. So difficult there to understand what's happened there. big disaster then for the RSGP team. So now at least everybody is going to be trying their best to work their way up the ladder. It means that the last two positions on the grid are going to be held by Jin Nakamura and Akshay Bora, because neither of them are going to get a lap time under their belt. So the pit lane becomes busy again. Unfortunately, our cameras didn't pick up what happened to Akshay Bora, because you're not expecting to see a car break down in turn one when it's still warming up tyres and brakes at the first corner. So I totally understand on that one, but yeah, we're under red flag conditions for the second qualifying session of the Formula Regional Middle East Championship 2025 Round 4. Session will be resumed at 3:17. That's in 25 seconds time again. So clearly they only needed to reset things after the full course yellow to make sure that everybody could have an equal chance of going for the pole position. Expect the whole field to go out en masse in a moment, because they've only got 8 minutes and 51 seconds to get the pole position time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Watch them all go out together. Engine revs rise, green light goes. Actually, I'm surprised. I thought they would all go together, but they have been a little bit more, well, you can see the urgency to get everybody out. So they've not got long to get this lap time in, and for quite a few of the drivers, that red flag is going to compromise everybody. So the current positions, as Rory Tenkin wants to know, technically speaking, it's pretty much number order, because nobody's set a decent lap time, and none of the laps will count. So now the Q2 restarts once again. Fascinating. Well, the questions keep coming in. I love qualifying because you do get to have a proper chat with people. Madison, Motorsports Madison wants to know, who do I think is getting pole? For the second one, I would have said going into it, Evan Schilter, but now that we've had the red flag, that warm-up procedure for the ART Grand Prix driver might not be so easy. This is the kind of opportunity that someone of the likes of Hugo Chukwu or Freddie Slater could take advantage of. Maybe even Rashid Al-Baheri could get a pole position lap out of it. There's a lot of urgency for him to do so. He's got himself in a very tricky start to the season. He's got a few podium finishes, of course, but what we'd really like to see from Rashid Al-Baheri on home turf is to go for the victory overall. He's still a rookie in Formula Regional, don't forget, so he's got plenty of time to put a win on the board. He can always come back here for the 2026 campaign and get a win then, but deeply love to move on now. He's close enough to getting a victory that he could finish the job this weekend. So in the background, Ferrari World with the fastest roller coaster on the planet, as they discuss. Not exactly had the chance yet to go and enjoy it myself. When I do, I'll let you know. I'm sure it'll feel pretty darn fast though. So into the S's to start the flying laps. Car 50 is reported to the stewards for crossing the pit exit demarcation line a second time. Very unfortunate for James Headley. That could put him to the back of the grid. So that's difficult to see how he's done that. He probably would have just put one wheel over the line. That's all it needs to be. So big difficulty there for James Headley. Very unfortunate if he gets a penalty from it, but unfortunately the punishment is very clear for crossing the demarcation line on the pit exit. If that's what he's done, I'm afraid he's called back to rights. 6 minutes to go then in the qualifying session. Not a lot of time to warm up tyres and brakes. They'll get one more lap to do so, and then in the closing minutes of the session, it'll be gung-ho and go for glory. The drivers will try and get a pole position lap time out of it. So there is the number 5, that is Aaron Cameron, the Australian driver, plenty of racing experience, loves getting behind the wheel of a single seater when he can. His most prominent experience is at the Bathurst 1000, the classic touring car race in Australia on Mount Panorama. So he'll certainly be used to mixing it up wheel to wheel with drivers, probably not quite as close in a single seater as you can get in Bathurst 1000 races, of course. He'll still be enjoying himself. There's his teammate, Matteo De Palo, for the MTB squad. His first appearance in the 2025 season. Still debates as to whether all of the drivers that are here at Yas Marina will be attending the last round of the championship in Lusail. You've got to remember that there's a couple of competitors that are going to be moving away from the Formula Regional Middle East Championship at that point because they have testing programs that they need to start. So I think we'll basically get the championship contenders, and then whoever is up for the scrap to try and grab a rookie win or some decent championship points to end the season. So De Pallo opens up the proceedings with a 1 minute 50.144. That's a pretty good opening gambit for the Italian. Would expect that to be beaten pretty quickly. Fascinating scenario for all of the contenders. Matteo De Pallo, Aaron Cameron, Kaidar Ionani and Yaroslav Zalaho have opened the accounts. Look at it, it's starting to stack up there at the back straight as drivers are trying to go for that one lap. That's what the red flag has done for the qualifying session. It's given us a bit of a traffic jam as drivers get themselves ready to go for the qualifying lap, and there could be a couple of drivers who get caught out. So it will be fascinating to see how it all continues. Really wants to know how many cameras do we have around the track. I believe for the Asmarina circuit we have 7 around the track and 2 in pit lane. So should all be able to get up to date with everything. Motorsport Madison says she's glad she's homeschooled. It means she can actually watch. Good for you. My 3 kids are homeschooled as well. Matteo De Pallo, Aaron Cameron, Kaidar Ionani. That's the leaders at the moment. Rashid Al-Aheri goes fastest of all in sector 1. 23.30 for him. Compared to Alan Shields on a 23.4, Ugachukwu on a 23.4, and Freddie Slater on a 23.33. So Rashid Al-Aheri definitely the fastest of all in sector 1, but it's all going to be about tidying up the lap. So can Rashid Al-Aheri get an overall pole position? Certainly going well in sector 1. They're going down towards sector 2. Fastest of all, Evan Shields 47.6. Let's see if anyone's going to go quicker than that. 47.7 for Taito Kato, 47.8 for Ganato Lee. Let's see if anyone else can get close enough to that mark. 47.8 for Alonso Deligny, 47.7 for Yugo Ugachukwu. That could end up being a decent lap. How about Freddie Slater? Still not through the timing screen yet. Rashid Al-Aheri has done a 47.9. So Gilter overall looks like he's going to be quicker for the whole lap.
Welcoming a puppy or kitten into your life is such an exciting time. Along with lots of love and attention, they will need regular vet visits for health checks, vaccinations, and protection from fleas and other nasty critters. Give them the best start with a Best for Pet wellness plan that includes unlimited vet consultations, annual core vaccinations, and access to 24/7 vet chat. Plus, enjoy 10% off parasite protection, desexing, pet food, and more. Visit the Best for Pet website and join today.
So under the final 10, the lap times are going to tumble down thick and fast. Drivers trying to find some decent lap pace. Gilter goes top, 149.71. Mighty third sector for Evan Gilter. Taito Kato goes second on a 150.00. Hiyu Yamakoshi goes second, then Rashid Al-Aheri goes second. 8 thousandths of a second slower than Gilter. Yugo Ugachukwu third, Yamakoshi fourth from Kato, Rivera, Lee, Deligny. What about Freddie Slater? Where's he going to be as he comes through? Still waiting for him. He was fastest of all in sector 2. So Freddie Slater could take the pole position away from Gilter. How is his third sector? Could be interesting. He's gone pole! Freddie Slater, 149.3! What a lap from the Englishman! My goodness! Over a quarter of a second quicker than Evan Gilter. Wow! Freddie Slater, the rookie driver, has responded to that 41-point deficit in perfect style. Looks like 2 bonus points could be going the way of Freddie Slater. He is back, ladies and gentlemen. He may have had a dip on the corkscrew. He may have slumped at Dubai, but Freddie Slater is back. Pole position is potentially his for the moment. Evan Chiltes second, Rashid Adaheri third. Then Yugo Magachukwu, Hiru Yamakoshi up in fifth position. Great work from the Japanese driver for Pinnacle. Then Taito Kato doing a great job. He's sixth again. And Esther Vera, much better in seventh place from Kanato Lee. Then Inter Deligny, Matteo De Palo is 10th. Then it's Jack Beaton, Lulu Che, Nikita Bedrin, Brandon McDowell way back in 14th. That's the effect of the red flag. So it looks like quite a few drivers are getting some lap times deleted for track limits. James Henley is one of them. So too is the number 10 of Nikita Bedrin. We're going to see if there's any improvements to the lap. Rashid Adaheri goes fastest of all sector 1, 23.21. Personal best in sector 2. Could be a quick lap from Adaheri. Can he go quicker still? 149.727. It's not quicker than he's gone before, so he remains in third position. Matteo De Palo goes up to 7th, up to 5th goes Enzo Deligny. That's more like it for the Frenchman. He's really struggled in qualifying this year. Now he goes quicker than Yamakoshi. Billy Green's had his latest lap time deleted. That's unfortunate for him, but it only drops him to 21st rather than to the back. And now James Headley comes up to 17th place. Good run from the British driver, 150.6, but that lap looks like it's been deleted again for track limits. He's down at the back once more. Getting used to this car is not easy. Everybody is now on their final flying lap. Let's see if we can see any personal bests. Personal best for Nikita Bedrin, 23.4. That's not going to be good enough really to challenge for pole. Might be good enough for top 10 if he can finish the lap. But it really is going to be spectacular to see if anyone can get close to Freddie Slater. The checkered flag is out. 0.3 of a second is a week as far as Formula Regional is concerned. That's a big gap to have over Evan Chilter. So Freddie Slater really has nailed it. Oh, that's not good timing for Slater to nearly trip over Liu Che in the Origin. And that will have hampered Freddie Slater's lap there, so he won't go quicker on this lap, and he might not need to. But it's not just about going quicker, it's also about the principle of where you place your car. So Freddie Slater might not be particularly happy with the placement of Liu Che's car on the way through two very fast parts of the course. Don't forget, the entry point to that first corner is completely blind. So we're not seeing any more personal bests in the first sector. Everybody is backing down, so I think that's all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. Freddie Slater is done and dusted in pole position. He cannot be beaten. Evan Chilter is certainly not going to beat him. Rashid Adaheri isn't either. He's going to pit in. Yugo Magachukwu crosses the line. Does not improve from a 149.75. Deligny, good job from the Frenchman. 5th position on the grid this time in front of Hiyu Yamakoshi. Great work from the Japanese driver. Yamakoshi-san in P6 in front of Taito Kato, Matteo De Palo, and Esther Vera, much better from the Mexican in 9th place. And then Donato Lee beat 10th in front of Jack Beaton and Liu Ruche. Well, some dramatic performances then in qualifying. It's really counted against Brandon Madua, of course, and then there's no lap times on the board for Jin Nakamura or Action Order. So big devastation